Shalom, y'all. So, you know, when people say that Messiah is the Father, it not only takes glory from the Father and giving it to man, but it takes the significance of what Messiah actually did for us away. Hear me. The prophets, okay, the miracles that Messiah did, though the number of his miracles are too numerous to be even put in books on earth, I know that. But a lot of the ones that were notated were done by the earlier prophets. The raising of the dead, multiplying food for a numerous amount of people. These things were done by the early prophets. However, none of them lived upright and perfect as Messiah. Equating Messiah to the Most High, again, like I said, is taking glory from the Most High. He will not share his glory with another. But then it's basically saying that a person could not go through the things we go through and still live upright. And that's not true. That was the purpose of Messiah. Messiah was the perfect example. And if you're saying that he is an all-knowing, all-powerful being when he walked this earth, then what significance would that be to a person when we are not all-knowing and all-being? You feel me? Like, it would take away the of him being the example, because how are we supposed to equate ourselves to the Most High? He gave an example, and then y'all taking the glory from Yah by saying and the sacrifice that he actually truly made by giving his only begotten son. Y'all taking that and just kind of throwing that under the rug by saying, oh, he came down here by himself and did all of that. No. Of course, the Almighty, if he was to have come down as a man, would be able to withstand every single trial. Then what would be the significance? Because he's all powerful. How could he even be tempted? Y'all cannot be tempted. He wouldn't have that. Like, what would have been the significance of him coming down for us and doing that? And that's why he had to send his word, his perfect word in the form of a man, to show us that we can live perfect in his eyes. That's why he said, be ye perfect as your Father in heaven is perfect. Perfection is not what the Christian church shows you. Perfection is not what this world shows you. Perfection is meekness and righteousness. Perfection is walking right in the eyes of the Most High. I've posted this before. My favorite scripture, and this has been my favorite scripture since I was like 19, 18, 19 years old. It's Hebrews 4:15, and it says, we do not have a high priest who cannot sympathize with our weaknesses, because he was at all points tempted, but without sin. That alone tells you he is not the Father. He is our high priest, and he was at all points tempted. Yahuwah cannot be tempted, but he was perfect and without sin, because he is the word of Yah. And Yah's word is perfect. I'm just saying, it's a lot more studying and prayer and fasting that we as a nation have to do to understand how we are to properly reverence our Messiah without turning it into idolatry. The scripture says that he was without sin. It didn't say that he was incapable of sin. Because if he was incapable of sin, what would be the point of him being tempted? He wouldn't be able to be tempted. See, Messiah was not incapable of sin. See, that's a lie that Christianity tells you. He wasn't incapable of sin, because if he was incapable of sin, he wouldn't have been able to be tempted. Though he didn't fall to those temptations, he was at all points tempted, but without sin. Yahuwah cannot be tempted, like, at all. Shalom, y'all.